welcome back. We've got your GG1 here. For those of you that are not familiar, this is an American Models product and comes in a fairly long box. And the engines come with some sound effects. And Michael was saying that he's not super thrilled with how loud they are. And so I wrote him back, said I probably can either disconnect the sound card for you or turn the sound down. But maybe get the cart in front of the horse. He told me the engine has quit running. So I just tried to kind of do a quick power application just to see if I get any response, and I got nothing. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the shell, and we'll take a look at the inside and see if hopefully there's something real simple like a wire came loose kind of thing, and then we can fix it and be back on the rails. But let's take the shell off and see what we find. Well, Michael, here we are with your inner workings of your GG1 exposed. The shell comes loose with just 4 screws. I did notice that one of these white plastic or clear plastic side attachments, which is what holds the shell to the chassis, one of those has come unglued, and that's right there. So I'll get that reattached for you. But of more concern is what I have and what I don't have. So this is for your drive shaft. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off the stand for just a second, turn it sideways so you can better see what I'm talking about. In the middle here we have a nice beefy motor with a flywheel, and off each end you'll see there are some black universal pieces. And that shaft that I showed you actually goes from that to there. This is your transmission that goes down to your drive wheels. So what's curious to me is one of those has completely come out. And what's also curious to me is there's another one that's just completely missing. It's gone. So the next thing I want to do is just check and see if we get any response from the motor. I'll go ahead and get some power applied and just double check that we still have something happening with the motor. And then if the motor comes to life, then the next issue will be getting some parts shipped from American Models and go from there. Okay, Michael, what I've done here is gone ahead and hooked up the one drive shaft that you had in your engine here. And as you can see, we've got motion, we've got wheels that are spinning. And I'll go ahead and order another one from American Models to get this section going. The other thing I did is I turned the volume down on the speaker. So like I just heard it, and it's so quiet now. Once there it was. I mean, it's super quiet. So I think you'll be okay with that. I mean, it's going to be super hard to hear anything coming from the soundboard on this. So that's where things are at the moment, and I will be back when there's any more to update. Hi, Mike. So I'm back with some good news. The replacement parts from American Models arrived here, and so now I can return to the GG1. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between repair projects as the parts arrive, and I thought maybe I'd just tell you a little bit about what the plan is here. So I'm going to replace the cups, if you will, in the end of the motor. Okay, so there's these universal pieces that look like this that are on either side of the motor, and then there's also those same pieces that are connected to the transmission. And just to kind of take care of any potential micro cracks or fractures that have allowed the transmission shafts to fall out, I asked for replacements for all of those. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the circuit board so I can get to the motor, remove those receptacles for the transmission shafts. But then I'm also going to need to remove the transmission pieces potentially. I don't know that I'll be able to get those out without actually pulling the transmissions, dropping the drive wheels, transmissions, potentially pulling the transmissions out and separating the halves. I don't know yet if I can pull out the old and put the new in without doing all that, I certainly will. But this may be a bit of a journey to get everything disassembled to a point where I can cleanly and easily get the old out and get the new in without damaging anything, because that's always the goal. Michael, I wanted to come back and talk a little bit about what's going on here. I did end up needing to take everything apart, transmissions. And one of the things that I have to applaud the engineers behind this, and also those that work at American Models, because this is, I think, so slick how they did this, but also a real challenge that you have to be careful of if you tear into one of these. So they have these thrust bushings on either end of the armature, and they're like a half moon. So you've got a flat spot on one side, and what you need to do is recognize, oh, there's a flat here, so that means the flat needs to come up. And if we pull this armature section out, you'll see there's a flat spot underneath. So these bushings or thrust bushings need to be in the right place and oriented correctly. If they're not, when you go to put the transmission back together, you'll have a split, and you'll see it. So I guess word to the wise, if you're working on one of these, you go to put everything back together, and you look down the top of your transmission, maybe when you go to put the nut on to secure it back to the chassis, and you see it split, you'll know, I've got probably the thrust bushings spun, because they are really easy to spin. And I on that one, I know I took it apart and put it back together about 7 times to finally get the orientation correct, because these things just kind of float and they move, which is what you want. But obviously, when you're reassembling things, they need to go in the right location so they can float the way they're supposed to. So interesting. Been fun working with this. Hey Michael, I'm back with an update for you. Found a couple things that were unexpected. There is a coating on the underside of these GG1 frames, at least yours, that is a insulating coating. And after I redid all the transmission stuff, put it all back together, it was acting funny. Didn't want to. It would run for just a second and then short out, or the breaker would trip. I was like, what in the world's going on? Because I didn't do anything, but that should have impacted the electrical. And so I started trying to do some troubleshooting. And here underneath, where you see these black marks, there were worn rainbows, if you will, from the flange of the wheels pushing up on the underside of the frame, and it wore off this coating, and then there was a dead short. And so I was like, so I put on some liquid tape, is what it's called, electrical tape, on there, and it's basically a type of rubber cement, I think, and then that allows if the drive wheels come into contact with sorry, I'm trying to get all these million wheels back on the track. If the drive wheels come into contact with the frame, now they've got something that's insulating them and keeping any shorts from happening. So now we've got some motion again here. So now this track that it's on right now is a really rough section of track. And I've kind of done that intentionally just because it's really like that. It's really great to test stuff. And now this GG1 has a super long wheelbase, as you know, so it doesn't really like sharp curves, even traditional flyer curves. It's not super happy with those. So, I mean, I've had it successfully run back and forth through the switch and up the incline here, but sometimes it doesn't like to. Yeah, it is long-legged, that is for sure. So, all right. So I think we got transmission stuff working. We got your sound turned down as you requested. So the next thing I'm seeing is these light bulbs are not coming on. I don't know. I'll have to check and see if they're burned out or not. They don't appear to be. So I don't know. I might have a loose wire with all the jostling around that I did, but I'll investigate that. Grateful to get this far. There were a whole lot of little things that I figured out about reassembling the transmission. I had to modify the parts that American Models sent just a little bit, just the smallest amount, because they were just a tad long. And when I looked at the one original part, I realized, oh, yeah, they shortened these up just a smidge. I also lubricated all the gears and the axles and did all, some of the generic maintenance stuff that I like to do for folks. So anyhow, making some good progress on this guy. I thought I'd show you a little bit about where we're at the moment. So, Michael, I just went ahead and tossed the shell back on, and before I did that, I turned the volume back up just a little bit because I was kind of curious to see. Oh, looks like we've got a wheel off here. There we go. I turned the speaker up just a bit because I just was curious what it sounds like. That's the bell, which I can turn on and off, and the horn's just kind of a standard diesel sounding horn, but I was just curious. Don't want to think that you're ignorant or anything, so please don't hear me saying that, but I thought maybe you weren't sure about these pantographs. In theory, if I remember correctly, whatever direction the engine's going, the one at the back was typically up, because that was how they changed the direction of the motors. And with these pantographs, when you push them down, there's actually a little bit of a lock to them to keep them from popping up. Again, you may know that already, but just thought I'd mention it to you. The one on the back here, trying to see why. Oh, there we go. Okay. Just didn't want to lock very good. The one on the front actually locks quite a bit better. So, all right. Well, we'll go ahead and I'll change things up here a bit and get some track side shots for you. Beautiful engine. Man, these things are so cool. I also got the sound turned back down for you. If you ever want to turn that on, you can take the shell off, and there's a little, basically kind of a dial looking thing that has a screwdriver slit in the middle that you'll turn, and you can just kind of experiment to get it to a sound that you're happy with. So, but nothing's been disconnected. It's just basically turned to zero. So that's always ready if you want to use it. Here we go.